It's now 6 o'clock by my clock. Mark, would you lead us in a prayer before we get started?
Sure. To those who agree, let's pray. Father God, thank you for the privilege of being here this evening among friends and colleagues and constituents to consider some of the business of this college. We thank you for the folks that are here as decision makers and participants and providers and presenters and discussers. We thank you for this privilege of serving the community in this way. We ask that your continued blessings be on our school, faculty, staff, students, our community, and we look forward to your grace and your will and your mercy, and especially your will to be done in all things. We look forward to that. All these things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Now I'll call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to have the consent agenda. Do we have any corrections or additions to the minutes from the October 19, 23rd board meeting?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody have additions or corrections to the financial statement from the October 31st?
Mr. Lopez, was your motion for both of them?
It includes both, yes.
Oh, for both? Okay. We'd like to recognize our guests tonight. Welcome to the meeting. We'd like to welcome Wade Carver, Bonnie Herndon, Eric Sandoval, Pablo de la Garza, Alicia Flores, Abby Bowman, Natalia Ramirez, Joey Almond, Sugar Almond, Al Salinas, Lisa Ermis, Aubrey Haynes, Mark Underwood, April Ruman, Rhonda Shell, Chuck Garabadian, Brenda Hoffman, Connie Buchanan. Have I missed anybody? Except a policeman back there didn't sign up. Welcome. Do we have an audience to patrons?
Yes, sir. Mr. Satterwhite?
Welcome.
Evening. Thanks for letting me speak again. I came last month, I believe it was, and asked for your nomination for the Real Central Appraisal District. I was just going to come back this month to give you a little update. We've had one resignation this week from a board member who did not get nominated to return, so he will be stepping down. I'm not sure he's going to make tomorrow's meeting or not. So I want to give you an update on that one. Also, Mr. Moreno, last time he was here, asked me a question on why we replaced all 5 board members at the same time. So I did a little research, read the Texas code, and it was a lovely read if you want to take time to do that. It's based on populace. Any county less or appraisal district less than 75,000 is required to change out all 5. Anyone of populace above 75,000 has a staggered vote. So we're being below 75,000. We're required to change out all 5 every 2 years.
That's nice to know.
So
Well, we
not
don't
that
do
bad.
that. We don't have to do it here in Uvalde.
No, you don't. You're over 75,000 in your populace in your
Oh, in the
your
county?
appraisal district.
You're
Yeah.
talking about county?
Yes. Yeah, we'll never get 75,000 in the city, Lee. And also, Mr. Moreno, I know at the last meeting had voiced his desire to return to the appraisal district. So Lake Independent School District, we gave all the votes we had to him. It wasn't much, but we don't know if we was a blessing or not to him. But well, good luck with him on that one there.
Oh, thank you.
Other thing is, I asked for your nomination last time, so I just come back tonight and ask for your vote. If you had any questions, I'd be willing to field them. Otherwise, that's all I have this evening. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have reports. Business Office Technology Report.
Hello. This microphone is right here. Good evening. while I am introducing myself, this is my PowerPoint. If you would like to participate in the PowerPoint, in the presentation, then you hold up your phone, use the camera, and do the little QR code. And it's kind of cool. What it does is that it's an online presentation, and it actually will transcribe what the presenter is saying, and actually in multiple different languages while the presenter is speaking. So, and it gives you a little chance if you want to participate. So if you want to put a little reaction, a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a happy face or whatever you'd like to do there, then the person can also present. So my name is Bonnie Herndon. I am the program coordinator and the instructor for the Business Office Technology program. And I'm going to speak to you and tell you about the program. I've been here for 14 years, and I'm very blessed to be here. I love our college, and I love our students. So I'm going to go ahead. He did warn me that it's a long way across here and that, vision is a thing. So, and I really didn't think the room was quite this wide at that moment, but yeah. So as I said, it's the Business Office Technology program. I'm going to go backwards for just a minute and talk to you about business. I know that most of y'all know quite a lot about business, and particularly those of you on the board. This is one thing that I try to talk to my students about. What is the purpose of a business? We'll just go back to the very beginning. What is the purpose of a business? The sole purpose of a business is to make money. Because if it doesn't make money, it has to close its doors. I mean, eventually. There may be will run off capital for a while, but if they're not making money, a business has to close the doors. So the making money means a profit must be made. Profit meaning that, of course, the income has to offset the expenses. Making a profit means the business must be efficient in all areas of cost. And this is where the Business Office Technology program comes in. Because to be efficient, that means that the employees have to be efficient. We all know that quite often for any business, one of the biggest items for expenses is payroll. So employees need to be skilled. The employers in our district tell me that for any opening they have, they'll have a big pile of applications, but very few of those employees or very few of those people that are applying actually have the skills that are needed for the jobs. So many employees know a little bit, but knowing a lot can be being versatile can reduce the cost of the business. And again, we're back to the efficiencies of a business and being able to make a profit. Not only that, but an employee that is trained well and knows a lot can actually train other employees and lift the whole business. Okay, and basically what the product of my program is administrative assistants and executive assistants. And as we all know, the assistants are the people in the background of an organization typically, and they are the ones doing so much of the busy work, so much of the keeping all the rest of us on track. They do the timekeeping, they produce internal and external documents. They set up meetings, they keep track of finances and costs, they create presentations, they create financial reports, and record keeping. As part of that, one thing that industry potential employers look at is how can I tell that an employee actually knows their content, actually has these skills. And so there are industry level certifications that are available, and that's what we do is that we train our students to be able to not only give what is needed for a business, but also to pass certification tests so that they can be employable and can work well in the business. We test and we train and test for Microsoft Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, Outlook, and we also train for QuickBooks. In the fall 2024, we're planning to add bookkeeping, which is another certification that Intuit has added. And that's one thing too, the accounting firms have actually come to Dr. Gonzalez and, yes,
What's the difference between bookkeeping and QuickBooks?
Bookkeeping basically QuickBooks has different functions. We've had accounting firms in the area that have come and asked Dr. Gonzalez, they need potential employees. And they don't necessarily need CPAs. They need CPAs also, but they're so busy that they themselves, the partners in the firm, are having to do bookkeeping to be able to keep their clients because they don't have people to do it. So bookkeeping is a lower level than an accountant would be. An accountant would be like the person that's overseeing the bookkeeper.
I just thought bookkeeping was another program.
No, it's part of the business office technology
They
program.
need bookkeeping with the skill of using QuickBooks.
Right.
A bookkeeper is usually an accountant without a degree.
Right.
That's what that is. And QuickBooks is just the software.
Right.
There's a certified public accountant, but there's no just accountant certification. So that's the way I understand it. Just a bookkeeper is just someone that does accounting work that doesn't have a degree.
Right. That's
Am I
exactly
right?
right. And really anybody can become a bookkeeper, but being certified means that at least some industry level is willing to say that you know what you should know. And actually, before a student can take QuickBooks, and that's a good point, they have a prerequisite. They have to take Intro to Accounting, so they know the accounting basics and they know the basics of bookkeeping, double entry accounting, before they start the QuickBooks course. So actually, Joey Almond and the rodeo team are following me up. And this is actually a quote that I occasionally get some of his students in my classes. And this is one of his rodeo team that told me this. She said, "I've learned more with you in one semester than I have in 3 previous years in college, and they are skills that I will continue to use during my life." And I just was so blessed by that. It's just really wonderful to hear. And she said, they have to work very hard, and yes, they do. My courses are not easy because we pack a lot into them, because we want them to be very productive and be able to be good employees in the community, and be productive. But that was a big blessing for me to hear that. One of our challenges in this program, typically my students are non-traditional students, so I can't just go to the high school functions and recruit them. So it's much more difficult to find the non-traditionals in the community and to reach out to them. Really, you almost can't in a group because it's just not set up that way. So there is always a challenge that we face in recruiting non-traditional students, and we're always working on that challenge. And that is it. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Almost every student needs some business skills.
I'm sorry?
Almost every student needs some business skills.
Absolutely. And I think that's what the rodeo student was saying that she actually plans to go into business for herself at some point, and these are skills she needs.
I got here a little bit late, but this software and these skill set is something I think that everybody should learn.
Right.
QuickBooks is the universally used software for small businesses in America.
Right.
So yeah, and then of course being able to do Excel is I mean, in my work, I mean, in business, I mean, you've got to be able to use Excel, so I think it should be a prerequisite for everybody.
Right, right. And that's, it is something that is very neat. I've had bank vice presidents come to me and say, I need to learn Excel. And, you know, it's very important and people don't realize. And I'm kind of a geek about it, so I tell them it's actually my favorite program. So I'm trying to go to my email now because Joey needs something. Joe, if you'll come on up
Yeah. Ms.
while I'm
Herndon,
doing that.
Ms. Herndon,
Yes?
I have a quick question. I've
Yes?
heard listened to the podcast with both Mike Rowe, and they advertise Oracle. What is Oracle? Any idea? Like an
I
office?
know vaguely. I believe it's a database. Anybody? Database. It's a database. And Access is the Microsoft version of a database.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the big, like ERP, enterprise resource systems, like that hospitals or higher education use to track all of their data is built on an Oracle platform, an Oracle database platform. Oracle also does a lot of network stuff and things like that.
It's kind of like this, or what?
Even the kids that are gonna go on to wanting to get a degree in business should take a class on PowerPoint and Excel, because I mean if you talk to anybody that gets involved in business and you're even in the corporate world, you have to be able to give a good presentation and you have to be able to do spreadsheets.
And that's one reason I've actually added this semester, I added a presentation for PowerPoint, or a certification for PowerPoint as part of one of my courses. I'll let you. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you for the
Thank
report.
you.
We enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Next on our
You're up.
agenda, we have Mr. Joey Almond, Professor of the field.
First of all, I just want to thank y'all for letting us be here tonight. It's quite an honor to be here. And we've made a slideshow that's going to go through as we're talking, and I'm going to just kind of go over our rodeo program. And before we get started, I've got some guests that I want to introduce. First of all, I want to introduce my wife. A lot here don't know her. My wife, Sugar Almond. Sugar is my the assistant coach, but she is my partner, and she does so much for this program that there's no way you could do it by myself. It takes the whole bunch, and she does a tremendous job. I brought some of our students with us. Pablo de la Garza, stand up, Pablo. Pablo's from Camada, Texas. We've got Alyssa Flores. Alyssa runs barrel. She's from Laredo, Texas. We've got Abby Bowman, and Abby comes to us, and Abby lives in Bonifay, Florida. And Abby come all the way from Florida and lives right here in the dorms and rodeos for us. The other little girl, Natalia Ramirez, and Natalia's also from Laredo, Texas. But anyway, we've got 35 kids that are on our program, and these are 4 of them that are still here. We've got them spread out, and we wanted to bring some with us so that y'all could meet them and see them. But first of all, I just want to start off and talk about the college rodeo and let y'all kind of know what we are. But we're a member of the NRA, the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association. The Intercollegiate Rodeo Association is broken into 11 regions in the United States. And of those 11 regions, we're in what's called the Southern region. That's just like being in the Big 12 or the SEC. It's the conference that we're in. And there are 12 schools that are in the southern region of college rodeo. And the schools that are in there are Sam Houston State University, Texas A&M University, Texas A&M Kingsville, McNeese State University down in Lake Charles, Stephen F. Austin, Texas A&M Commerce, Panola College, Hill College, Wharton College, Northeast Texas Community College, and Trinity Valley. And then ourselves, Southwest Texas Junior College. So y'all can see that we are competing against the universities. I mean, I've got freshmen and sophomores here with me tonight, and we're going against kids 23, 24 years old. But anyway, what we do is we have 10 college rodeos a year. We have 5 of them in the fall and 5 of them in the spring. Through those college rodeos, at the end, they take the top 3 contestants from each event, and they get to qualify for what is called the College National Finals Rodeo, which that's the greatest rodeo you can go to in college. It's every year. It's in June. It's in Casper, Wyoming, and it's tough to get there. There's 408 kids in the southern region of college rodeo, and so the events are full. There's a lot of kids in each event, and to get into that top 3 is quite an honor. When we come here, we've been here, we've completed 5 years. This is our 6th year to be the rodeo coach here. And when we come here 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we had a goal, and that was our dream, was to have a successful program, but we wanted to win, and we wanted to do good. In the 5 years that we've been there and been here, I want to give you just a few of the accomplishments that the kids have done. All 5 years, we have qualified kids to the College National Finals in Casper, Wyoming. We hadn't missed a year yet. The first year we were here, we took a true freshman that we recruited and brought with us, and he was a young man by the name of Tyler West, and Tyler was the reserve national champion steer wrestler. We nearly won the national championship the first year we were here. We took a women's team to the college finals. And it's hard for me to, I could get into that, but I don't probably have enough time. But that's a tough deal to get a team to the college finals. And anyway, we did get the women's team there, which was a great honor. While we were there, one of the little girls that was there, she just went by a while ago, a little girl by the name of Taylor Lawson. She set the arena record at the college national finals in the breakaway roping. It's been at Casper for 26 years. And she still today, she has the fastest time they've ever roped there. She holds the arena record. She was 1.6 that night. This summer, we got the ultimate. We did what we set out to do. And we had a young man, and there they go around the arena. That's Slade Wood. Slade won the national championship in the team roping this year. So we got to bring the national championship home to Southwest Texas Junior College. And people, that's just an honor that's unbelievable. It's hard to do. And on Saturday night, that thing is full. It's full, that Coliseum in Casper. And the atmosphere, it's just unbelievable. And he was the last kid to go because he come in winning it. And the mental game in this deal is tough. And I'd gotten a little nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. And Slade looked at me and winked and said, "Don't worry, Coach, I got this." That's what we went to do. But anyway, it was a big deal. Then I want to just tell you about our Southwest Texas Junior College Rodeo. People, we have one of the best college rodeos in the country. It's right here at Uvalde. And with the rodeos going on now, y'all can see the crowd that we do. The last 5 years, we've won the Southern Region Rodeo of the Year 4 out of those 5 years. And it's a big honor for us. My wife and I both, we strive to be the best at this. We like production. We've been around rodeo our entire life. My wife worked for the Professional Bull Riders Association and for the American Bucking Bull and was on the production side of that. And there's a lot of production into that. One of the things that we like, we were the first school to ever live stream a college rodeo in the southern region. And we went live, and now there's 4 or 5 of those colleges going live. And they're Texas A&M University, they're Sam Houston State, and they're following the junior college from Southwest Texas Junior College. And that means a lot to us. We have our sponsors in this community is unbelievable for what they do for this program. Our rodeo is it's big. I mean, y'all can see some of the things we do. It costs a lot of money to put it on, but we got the sponsorship and the support from the town and the community, and we're getting it done. The VIP section that we put in, we got a VIP section that's it's first class. My wife handles all that. I run the rodeo in the ground. She runs it up in the VIP section. The last 2 years, we've been able to feed all of our sponsors a full meal every night, Friday night and Saturday night, while they can come in and eat, watch the rodeo, get entertained, and visit amongst themselves and have good seats to watch the rodeo. That's something that they don't have at the other college rodeos. You won't see that. 2 years ago, she put in a silent auction. The silent auction is just went crazy. The people in the community are giving us stuff to put into it, and it's selling, and it goes back to our rodeo club 100%. We have a barbecue raffle that one of our great sponsors, Lifetime Barbecue Pits, right here in U Valley. She gives us a barbecue pit every year, and they back us 100%. This year, the raffle, the kids have to sell the raffle tickets. It's for our club. We made over 8,500 on our barbecue raffle. We went out a little bit further, and we've included the nursing program, the cosmetology program, the police academy. We let them sell tickets on a percentage, and they're just unbelievable thankful, because it was a fundraiser for them that we did all the legwork. All they had to do was sell tickets, give us a percentage, and they keep the rest for their clubs. So we brought that into the school to help everybody. That's what we want. The rodeo has turned into, it's a full-fledged production. We have a production meeting every day at 5 o'clock before the rodeo starts at 7:30. And when I say a production meeting, we meet with the stock contractors, the announcers, the clowns, everybody, because we have to have a production, because we have to know how to run it off. And it's not something that you just start it and you wonder what's going to do next. We have a production meeting, and we have a production. Our rodeo kids, our numbers are up. We have 36 kids that are entering the college rodeos this fall. Those are numbers that are bigger and they've grown every year. And our kids are very diversified. They're in all of the different programs here. We've got kids that are getting the general studies degrees, the business degrees. We've got them in wildlife. We've got them in the welding. We've got them in the HVAC program, the cosmetology program, and Mrs. Herndon's business program. And I will tell you that I was proud of what Miss Herndon said a while ago, but it's true, because they told me the same thing. And I've had several of them tell me how much they're learning in her program. Now, they do say she works them pretty hard. They say she gives too much work. But, and I've heard that more. I've heard that quite a bit now. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think last year the top business student in your program was a rodeo student. She was a little girl that had a year of eligibility left, and it was due to that COVID. When we went through that COVID year, those kids lost a year, or they I guess they didn't lose a year. They got another year of college eligibility. So I was able to recruit some kids, and this little girl actually had graduated from Texas A&M Commerce with a bachelor's degree, and she come back here and went through Mrs. Herndon's business program to rodeo that last year, and she's the one she's straight A student, and she was the one that got that award. And she told me that, she said, I got a bachelor's degree, and I've learned, this helped me as much as anything I've ever done. So that program she's got's working. I guarantee you it is. Our kids are going to school. They're passing. We're getting degrees. I know it's tough, and we're trying so hard, because that's a big part of the program. Is that they've got to pass, and everybody's gonna have if you farm, you're gonna have a few bad apples in the bunch, but you got to figure out how to get them out and replace them with a good one. And that's the way I look at this. And we're doing a good job. We're going to get, I think, 7 associate's degrees here in December. We'll have some more degrees, and we got some certificates in the fall. These are good kids. I guarantee you those kids right there, you can't get any better. I want to thank a couple of people. I probably went over my time here, but I want to thank a couple of people. One, we're working with a success center, and we're trying to get those kids to where they go in there for tutoring and where I can see their grades and where I can watch them, where I can try to help them before they get in a bind, or if they get in a bind, we can get them out of a bind. And I want to thank April Ruman, since she's gotten her division chair, is that correct? Or what are you? You're Dean, okay. I went to her because I was struggling. I was struggling getting those grades. And I went to her and I asked for some help, and just this last week was a record-setting time of getting them back. I don't know what you did, but I thank you for that, because you got to have some help like that. You got to help these programs to where they work. And we're thank you for that. I want to thank Derek Sandoval. Couldn't ask for a better guy. He's been my, I guess, boss or vice president. We're under him. He's supported us 100%. He's a cheerleader. He cheers for us. He wants us to win. He don't want us to fail. He wants us to do good. Him and his wife come to Casper, Wyoming, and rooted the kids on right there at Casper, and that means a lot. Dr. Gonzalez, shoot, I can't say enough good things for him. I'm a guy that when I want to do something, or I want to do it, and I'm just the way I'm geared and the way I was raised. And I go by his office, and I've never asked for an appointment. I just walk in there, and that guy has never turned me down. In 5 years I've been here, he's always said, "Come right on in." And we try to tell him we want him to know what's going on. We want him to be part of the decision making. We want his approval. And those things mean a lot, because I know there's days he's probably like, "Oh gosh, here he comes in here again." But and I probably ought to have an appointment, but I just stopped by. But I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Really and truly, that's a little bit about us. I'll open this thing up. If there's any questions whatsoever, I'd be glad to answer if I can or could. Or
Doing a fantastic job.
well, thank you,
All I
sir.
can
We
tell you.
appreciate that. We're trying. We're trying, and we have done a lot of great things. And the recruiting. One little quick story, and then I got the recruiting. We're recruiting all the time. Recruiting all the time. We recruit just like football players recruit. There's a little girl right here, Alyssa Flores. Stand up, Alyssa. Alyssa is from Laredo, Texas, and she is a very, very good competitive barrel racer. The first time I seen her at a high school rodeo, and I was recruiting, and I said, "That's the one I want. I want her." And I went out the back door, found her, got to her. She's a freshman in high school. I said, "A freshman in high school? That's 4 years from now." And I have been in contact with her. We never left contact with her. We've stayed with her for 4 years. This is her freshman year. She started the very first college rodeo we went to. Me and her were standing back there together, and I said, "Look, we waited 4 years for this. Let's go get it." And that was at the Panola College Rodeo. The fastest time had been run in the barrel race was a 16-second run. Alyssa run a 15:99 and won the first college rodeo. Couldn't have been no more prouder in my whole life. But anyway, those are things we're doing, and thank y'all, and we appreciate being here. And I even brought all you guys, and I brought y'all a cap, a rodeo cap. Y'all can take them home and wear them or whatever. But anyway, thank y'all.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the report, and thank you for the representation we've been receiving. from your
Your
group.
enthusiasm really shows.
Carries over.
And I can see why the kids would get
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
affected. It's great. Thank you.
I have to do something to cover that.
Talking to Dr. Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Holman.
Thank you so much. Oh, you got one for me? Oh, thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have a end-of-year report
Dr.
Board report?
Yes, Dr. Underwood.
First of all, thanks, Dr. Gonzalez, for putting me after all that. Yeah.
We hope a very brief presentation.
It's like they used to say on Ed Sullivan, you never want to follow children or animals, or I guess in this case, you never want to follow the rodeo team and beautiful people in the hats. I need a hat. That would help me. All right. You have in your packet, I believe it's number 5C. We have an executive summary of a very long academic report. You're familiar with those long ones. Those are the ones that start out with generic data from the Legislative Budget Board that we're required to report all the way down to individual course sections. But before you have some highlights that were prepared by Dr. Shell and the Research Office, Strategic Research Office, Initiative and Research Office. So I'll not read to you because y'all can read, but I'm happy to help interpret or talk about those, any of those data that you see there before you. I would say we're very happy with a couple of things just off the top there. The transfer numbers are up considerably, and I'm just personally pretty happy about that. Kind of all my lifetime, this has been an institution that was a transfer institution, and then you look at the numbers and you kind of went, well, it doesn't seem to transfer very many students, but we have a strategic goal specifically for that, and those numbers reflect some of those efforts. You'll notice the increase in overall awards, specifically certificates. We're very happy about that. Second page, middle page has some trend data there that you can see for about a 4-year span in most cases. Again, happy to answer any questions or offer interpretations. Yes, sir.
On the transfer, are we still having any difficulty on transferring students like to the big universities, UT, A&M, those guys?
The short answer is yes, but only really for particular programs. The difficulties there still fall into the programs like engineering and medical fields where they have the colleges within those universities are able to have some very specific narrow requirements for math, for example, and for some science classes. Tomorrow, in fact, we will sign an articulation agreement with UTSA over in Eagle Pass. We're very happy about that. They actually approached us about that. We've been approached by A&M Kingsville. We had a meeting with them earlier this week. I forgot now, last Friday, with a couple of their transfer officers. So we're working on that.
How are we doing with A&M and San Antonio?
A&M San Antonio, we had a transfer articulation agreement with them about 6 years ago, which quite candidly didn't go very far. I don't know that we have anything in the works with them right now. We do not? Okay. The 4-year schools, quite frankly, are, I think we would say at 2-year schools, wising up to the advantage of having transfer students. There's a lot of data out there now nationally and certainly within the state that say that transfer students do as well or better than their native students. And they didn't understand that or believe that for a long, long time. But the data just simply don't lie, and they're having to make that recognition.
I would think they would be more open-minded just because Palo Alto's been down in that area for years and years. So.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, at least speaking of the University of Texas at Austin, the issue is that within the university you have the different colleges, and some of the colleges are very competitive. So for example, the business school or the engineering school. And so for transfer students that are coming in as sophomores, they're competing against other UT students at other colleges to fill the enrollment. So you're going to be considered a lower tier from the other students within the university. So
that's correct.
I don't know that, at least in my recollection, it's not so much what the classes aren't sufficient. It's just availability because they're competitive to get into.
That's true. There's certainly the case that our students, transfer students, can get admitted to the University of Texas, quote unquote. But then when they want to get into the college of, as you say, engineering, business, and so forth, then they are competing against native students. The other thing there is with dual credit students, for example, four-year schools can still consider them as first-time in college students, even though they're clearly not, because they've been with us, say, a year or 2 years. But they can treat them internally with their records and so forth as if they were brand new freshman students, and back to some of the transfer issues as well. So,
But you know, I asked Dr. Gonzalez that. So if you graduate with an associate's degree at a high school, at that point you're no longer a freshman. So you can apply out of high school as a freshman, but can they also apply as a transfer student?
yes, they can.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Are they likely to be accepted as a transfer student, or are they likely to be declined?
If their GPA is high enough and they are dual credit graduates tend to have a really high GPA, their chances are quite good. The transfer GPAs have gone up from when I was in school. I know that's a long time ago, but it used to be a 2.2 would pretty much qualify a student to transfer. Most schools now, it's at least a 2.5. And again, that's to get into the university. And then for particular colleges, it can be, I think computer science at UT is a 3.5 or a 3.7 or something.
The
that's
other
ridiculous.
difference is that if you're applying as a freshman, you have to take the SAT or the ACT. If you're applying as a transfer student and you're a transfer applicant, you don't have to have those exams.
Correct. And just as an aside, the SAT and the ACT are falling out of fashion with a lot of four-year schools because the metrics on those are terrible. They're lousy predictors of actual university success, and that's a sobering thing for a lot of schools. But nationally, many four-year schools are not even taking those anymore. They're looking at high school GPAs and other factors. So it's real interesting. Yeah.
Well,
You might notice I did on that middle page the small class count. That looks like an awful lot of small classes, 713. The explanation there is really because of the need to combine a lot of small sections for a given course. So speech 1311, say, is the 18 students are distributed among 5 high schools, let's say. And each of those has its own section, unique section. So it might be 5 and 6 and 3 and whatever. So those all add up to be that 700. We're not letting 700 little tiny individual classes go. So. The third page there is the online resume page. This is a coordinating board document that is public, by the way, and if you want to kind of wander around the coordinating board site, I don't recommend that. Come talk to one of us who kind of knows how to get to things. But this is public data. Anyone who who would like to can get on the co-board site and find this for any college in Texas. But certainly happy to answer any questions you might have.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you very much for that
Thank you.
report. We appreciate your input. Next on the agenda is we have the president's report.
Yes, sir. Item number 6 in your board pack, beginning with tech expansion. So we have an agenda item for you tonight on a proposed budget for the first phase, what we're terming Phase 1A of the tech expansion, which will encompass the truck driving and power line, which will include the new warehouse building to make room for diesel on our campus. So we've been working every week with our team, both Derek and Al and our architect, going back and forth, doing multiple iterations of the site work. And we can talk about that a little bit in more detail as we get to that agenda item. We're also proposing to include the expansion of cybersecurity to our Crystal City campus, and we have a line item on our budget, our proposed budget, to accomplish that. Our Chittum and Tech Center are virtually complete. We're planning a ribbon cutting for when we come back in January. And so we have a signing, a UTSA signing tomorrow. We're trying to spread out our media exposure there in Eagle Pass. So we'll do the ribbon cutting once we get our our spring semester started there, and have students and have the facilities with the equipment in it to really showcase that. So look for that in late January. As Mark mentioned, under academics, we have the UTSA MOU signing tomorrow. We've also elected to join the state's FAST program, which is the dual credit tuition assistance program, where in essence every student that has been eligible for free and reduced in any of the previous 4 years will have their tuition for dual credit free. The state's going to reimburse us for that. So that will greatly expand opportunities for students. It was quite a challenge to implement it this semester, but we went ahead and proceeded. As the schools become more aware, a lot of the schools are funding it out of their own pocket, out of the school district's money, knowing that the state will reimburse them. I think will expand the number of students that take advantage of dual credit, because it will be at no cost or a reduced cost for the district. Also under academics, we have a couple agenda items for the approval of the Diesel Tech Heavy Equipment Program as well as the Surgery Tech Program. So the process is we need board approval, then we submit it to the coordinating board and submit it to the SAC COC, our accrediting body. So those will be on track to kick them off in the fall. Student meetings, at this point I've had meetings with students on all the campuses, started to address some of the issues or concerns that they raised. Here in Uvalde, it primarily centered around Garner Hall and the Wi-Fi coverage. Eagle Pass was library hours, and we're working on those as well. I don't know if you've seen the newspaper, the news, our website, social media. The college has made the top 150 colleges in the nation. There's over 1,000 community colleges in the U.S. We made the 150. We submitted some data yesterday. We'll submit the rest of the data in December. They will take next year. They review that data, and then they'll whittle that list down from 150 to the top 10. We really have a good shot, in my opinion, to make that top 10 list. Our team is working hard to respond to the questions. There's 7 areas that we have to respond to, and we've got a team that's looking at each of those areas and preparing the responses for that to make our submittal in December. The other thing I want to mention is on October 23rd, we hosted a meeting for the leadership within Uvalde. We invited city, county, school, hospital, faith-based, community, Rob families, impacted Rob families representatives, and got together with Dr. Martinez from UT, who's doing some studies on Uvalde and really analyzing what's going on in the community, some of the challenges faced by our residents, as well as the Giffords Law Center that produced a report that identified some challenges. We merged the two and looked at challenges that they have both identified. We put those challenges before the leadership and asked them to, number one, do you agree that those are challenges that our residents face? Number two, is there anything missing from the list? There was discussions about we need to add this, we need to add that. And then third, is there a commitment from the combined leadership group to begin addressing these challenges as a whole, as one community, and not in random acts, but really in a coordinated effort to leverage the resources from the various entities. There was a resounding yes to do that. We continue working on those. I met with both the Giffords and Dr. Martinez this week. As you know, we've had a change in the mayor. I had a good conversation with Mayor Cody Smith today. We have a new superintendent coming. I'll try to visit with her, in December, and maybe we can bring them both back on board into the fold of this leadership group and continue with this work in January. And the goal is to really start whittling away at some of these challenges that both researchers have identified as challenges that some of our residents are facing within the community. And then, let's see, the only other thing is we have Turkey Trot on Saturday. Christmas at the college, I know as you drove up, you saw some of the lights were on. That's going to be on the 28th. That's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. For the basketball fans, we have our basketball tournament on November 30th through December 2nd. And then we have our Christmas holidays, which will be closed from December 19th through January the 2nd. And before we leave that, I would like to ask Dr. Randa Shell to come up, and she is going to get a pin recognizing 10 years of service as an advisor to our Ada Beta chapter.
Next item on our agenda is to consider and act on a resolution allocating votes for individuals to serve as directors of the Rio County Appraisal District Board.
Yes, Mr. President, I am recommending that we give our votes for the college, the 378, to the two candidates that we nominated, David Satterwhite and Alan Adair. So that's my recommendation.
Who's the second?
Who's the second one?
Arnold Adair?
Oh,
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Mass. Motion passed.
That'd be 189 votes to each.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a motion, consider an act on a resolution allocating votes for individuals to serve as directors of the Valley County Central Appraisal District Board.
Going back to Valley County.
Yes.
Well, we got together and we decided that we would split our vote between Mario Escobar and Cruz Mata. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to that effect.
All in favor of the two candidates mentioned, Vara and Mata, indicate by saying yes.
Call for a vote? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? So we split our votes equally between those two.
It'll be 357, so
By 178, somewhere in there.
178 for Escobar, 179 for Mata.
Thank you. Now, next item on the agenda is to consider an act on diesel and surgical tech programs.
Dr. Underwood will walk us through that.
Hello again, thank you. Number 9 in your board packet provides the curricula for each program. The diesel, I believe, is provided first. The diesel program, just as a technicality, it's not a new program. As you know, of course, we have the program in Eagle Pass, so we're not technically asking for a new program. We're asking for permission to duplicate the program with an emphasis in heavy equipment here in Uvalde. The required advisory committee has met and approved the curriculum before you. The curriculum committee here at the college has reviewed the curriculum last week and approved as well. And so the curriculum committee is really recommending and requesting that the board approve this request. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Where will the facility be?
Why
Sir?
is I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So it looks like this, principally the emphasis on construction type equipment, but, you know, there's a lot of heavy equipment that's ag-related.
Great.
And why hasn't that going to be a part of it? I mean, there's a lot of, so for example, it seems to me most of the there's heavy equipment, you know, people that run bulldozers and maintainers, but a lot of the heavy equipment or the off-road equipment is agriculture related.
Correct.
Like being able to fix balers and what have you. Why isn't that incorporated?
I think the answer is that this program is about the basic principles of diesel technology and adding the hydraulic component, which is not emphasized in our current program. And the way the faculty have explained it to me is that those principles are going to be applicable to the kind of equipment that you're describing as well. Certainly a hay baler doesn't have, you know, a regular baler doesn't have hydraulics.
I guess
but, yeah.
maybe I misunderstood because it specifically references bulldozers, maintainers, and industrial construction equipment. I guess when they fashion an actual, I guess, a course schedule, I mean, is it going to be principles of hydraulics? You know, I mean.
Yes.
Okay. I just, you know, I don't want to. I think that they need to emphasize, at least to some extent, on agriculture, because
Sure.
a lot of the heavy equipment is agriculture related.
And we can certainly add that to this description. This is not.
If you look at the
Yeah.
detail behind it, there's another item 9 that has the courses.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought you. Yeah. One more thing. Yeah.
There should be another, should be a big packet.
No, and I'm in favor of it. I think this is a wonderful idea. I just, you know, I want us to.
Yeah. So do you have this? It should be in there.
Yeah, number 9 doesn't
Well,
have.
just take that.
Okay.
That's the actual free.
Okay.
And you can see that in the course.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah,
the course
that's
is listed.
yeah.
Yes, sir. There'll be electrical systems and hydraulic systems and engine systems, which will be applicable to those. So,
And a lot of, so in the emphasis, what will happen is, instead of when they work on, for example, basic brake systems, instead of working on the brake systems of a 18-wheeler, they'll work on the brake systems of heavy equipment.
So do we have the I mean, this may be a dumb question. Do we have the staff with
Yes.
the requisite training to instruct on these?
oh yes, Victor, Mr. Caballero, he actually comes from that side of the diesel industry, so he'll be our principal instructor for this aspect.
How many staff do we have? Just Victor?
We have two. We have Lucas Limbrick.
Right.
And
And
Victor.
Victor over there, but Victor's gonna be moving over here?
Correct.
That-
Yes, sir.
But is he gonna have any help, or?
He'll have a lab assistant for sure, and if the program, initially we think one faculty member will be sufficient, but if it grows, we'll certainly be in the
How-
market for somebody else. Yes, sir.
Sorry, did y'all model this after anybody else? Just
It's basically, I'm not aware that we did. Are you? Did we?
We've looked at
Other
colleges
schools.
that are already offering the program and took from them, and then we also added the Kubota piece, just to make sure that we integrate that.
We are going to be getting some equipment from the Kubota factory, or I guess the local dealer is going to help us with that, and that will probably involve some agricultural equipment, I suspect.
And
And
where's
we
the-
built it off there's a state sort of, what's called the WECM, the Workforce Education Course Manual. We built this off of that and then looked at other schools as well. Yes, sir.
Where's the physical location on campus?
Where the auto body used to be.
Auto body used to.
Oh, okay.
Kind of behind the welding
Yeah, yeah.
welding shop. Yeah.
Este, Victor does a lot of the egg equipment.
Derek will pull it up here.
I'll make a motion to proceed on this. I think it's a great idea.
A second.
Just point of order, these are actually, both are actually in one motion, if that matters to your motion. So both this one and the,
Well, they're
And the
listed as
surgical
two
tech.
different,
They were-
two different, oh, the diesel and the surgical tech program.
Yes, sir, those are in
Okay, I got
one
it.
Basically, it's a
motion.
diesel program, though.
And the surgery tech.
yes, sir, but it's in one motion on the agenda, just as a technicality. So any other questions on surgery? I'm sorry, on diesel. So the surgical tech, the surgical tech curriculum.
We'll hold your motion until
Okay.
the surgery.
Okay. The surgery tech curriculum is also provided, again, Mr. Munoz, maybe you don't have that way, I don't know. Robert Seckler is our program director. He has a long professional history in surgical tech, both in the military and in the private sector. And he, again, in consultation with, I believe, St. Philip's and some other schools, designed the curriculum. And it's, again, gone through the advisory committee as well as the curriculum committee here at the school. We think we're ready to go. There is one sort of difference that if you medical folks may have noticed, there's a new anatomy and physiology class that's a single 4-hour class that will be part of this program, a combined A&P 1 and 2, which I'm not even a science person. That makes me a little nervous just thinking about that. But they assure us that, and I was surprised the number of schools in Texas who use that course for surgery tech, for some other MLT, some other programs. So we feel good about that. Catarina Morales has designed a syllabus for that course. That was part of the approval packet that the curriculum committee went through last week. And so we feel good about offering this for your approval.
I like it.
And we're going to have this physically in the Sol Ross building, correct?
Yes, sir. Sol Ross building.
Well, I'll supplement my motion.
And now we have a motion.
Surgical
We have a
tech program.
second?
We got it.
It's not a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys
All
made
in
the
favor
proposal.
of
Yes.
approving the two programs, diesel and surgical tech? Anybody against? Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider an act on tech expansion for proposed budget.
Yes, sir, that's item number 10 in your board packet. So what we have here is the first document that looks like this
I saw it.
is a proposed layout for the site, and we have it blown up here. So Derek, do you mind just showing where that area? It's going to be in that corner right there.
Where's the president's house on there?
It's right below where it says Garnerfield Road.
That one?
There's a rodeo arena.
Mm.
Rodeo arena's here. The president's house is here. This is our college
Yep.
daycare.
So the entrance is going to line up with that entrance that you see there on the college rodeo. To give you a perspective on this document here.
Will there be entrances on the backside also?
No, just on the front.
What are we going to do, Dr. Gonzalez, about the drainage?
Yeah, so they're working on site work. We're actually, they're going to take some elevations, get with TxDOT. We proposed a detention pond in the back area. The area that's, so outside of the red lines up here, to help slow down that water flow that backs up into the daycare. We've also talked about incorporating the septic system. We always have problems with the daycare septic system when it floods because the septic backs up.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of routing that onto this project and moving that septic away from that drainage area so it doesn't impact the daycare every time that area gets water. So that'll be part of the project as well.
How big a pond are we talking about?
We don't have the
Dimensions?
dimensions yet. They're getting with TxDOT to see how much water flow comes down from the Marsh Lane area. Obviously, it's not going to hold it all, but if we can get enough just to slow it down and not overtake the area there on the daycare.
And TxDOT has never come through, right, on the drainage?
So TxDOT has designed the culvert expansion, which is, right now it's a 12-inch culvert, one.
Mhm.
And they've designed, I think, 3 6-foot culverts to accommodate that water flow. It's been engineered and it's in their queue. Whenever they have money, they'll tackle it. But it just got, Garnerfield just got resurfaced this summer. And I want to say it's like the 3rd time in 10 years that they resurface it, and every time they raise it by 3/4 of an inch.
It creates a
higher
dam.
dam,
Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully, in the next year or two, we'll have that box culvert, and that'll eliminate all the flooding problems. Because that's the problem right now is the drainage hole is too small, and the road is getting higher, so it's just backing up all that water.
It's a big dam.
Once it gets over the road, we have the improvements that we've made on our side to get it off our property. So in this layout, you can kind of see that long vertical building on the left side. That would be the warehouse on the document you have. And then that middle area is the parking. We propose to move the current Lyman building that's sitting adjacent to the modular for law enforcement, having it moved and use that as a classroom. Again, to try to save cost and not, a new building is going to cost us $250,000. And to move it, we had a mover come out and it's $15,000 to move it. So it's worth it for us to move it. That building will work for both of those programs.
Mr. Sandoval, where's our boundaries on the east side there, on the boundary to the right?
Over here.
It's at brush line,
Okay,
the far brush line,
yeah.
right
Oh,
there.
that one.
That's the boundary. And then marsh on the north and then Garfield on the south. It's
How many-
approximately 40 acres.
How many, 40 acres?
Más o menos. So on the second page, these are the estimates provided by the by the architect. In essence, it's $1.7 million if we go the route of having a general contractor build the building for us, do the site work, and like a typical construction project. The third page, or the subsequent page, is if we do the site work in-house and we use a buy-board vendor, which we've already located, they're approved by the state, that we can purchase the building. They will lay the foundation and install it for us. We can reduce that budget by almost $600,000 to $1.1 million.
How big is the building that you want to move?
It's like 40 by 60, something like that. It's a building that's right next to the modular.
Yeah.
It's not quite as big as a modular, but it has 2 classrooms in it. It has a restroom. It'll be ready to go for truck driving and power line. So our goal is to move the power line and the truck driving over there and the warehouse. So then on the third page, the last page there is the recap. We had set aside $4 million for our tech expansion, phase 1. If you authorize us to build it in-house and use the buy-board vendor for the warehouse building, and then here's the equipment cost. You see the line item there for expanding cybersecurity to Crystal City, the additional trucks and trailers that we need to expand our truck driving, and the additional power line truck. Yeah, that totals that 425. So combined, will leave us with a remaining balance of 2.4 to do the Eagle Pass, the 2 programs in Eagle Pass.
Is that your recommendation?
Yes, that's our recommendation, is to approve us to do it in-house and using a state-approved vendor for the building.
Dr. Watkins, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the recommendation of Dr. Gonzalez.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor of accepting the proposal?
Aye.
Anybody against?
There you go.
Motion passed. Next, we need to consider an act on authority on authorizing the president to proceed with items necessary for the tech expansion.
So this is number 11, so this memo would, here's what, you approve the budget, so now that we're doing it in-house, you would authorize the president to prepare the site work in-house, execute any utility easements to bring the power and the water in, rent the necessary equipment for the site work, purchase the material that's needed, select the metal building vendor from the state-approved purchasing list, and hire any specialized subcontractors that may be required if we need something for major utility work or the paving, stuff like that, similar to what we did with the modular.
Let's get started.
So we need a motion to accept
Yes, please.
the proposal. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Anybody second?
I'll
Second. Motion second has been made to accept the tech expansion proposed budget. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is consider an act on authorizing the president to proceed with items necessary for the tech expansion, phase one.
No, that was it. That was it. We're in closed session.
Next, we go to what? Closed session?
Yes, sir.
Considering personnel matters, the board will convene in closed session in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Codes 551.072, 551.074,
How you doing?
to consider employment discussion with same.
Consider an act on tech expansion.
Thank you all for coming. We will have a meal after the meeting if you all would
Can you second?
remain after the
Oh, it was
Closed
both-
session?
Both of these. They put them both together. President and
Reconvene the meeting in open session again to address other business. Do we have any further business?
No, sir.
Then we need to adjourn in memory of Don Tomlinson. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I will so move.
Do I
And
hear
I'll
a second?
That's okay. I move that we
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Leave.
After I didn't have my ducks. in
Motion
a row,
passed.
but, there's-
We are adjourned.
Sorry to let you down.
Huh?